Sup Sup Everyone, I'm ItsReallyTimmyB and welcome to this video where I will be tier ranking all of the Pokemon main series games Gen 1 to Gen 9, and I got not one but I got two major announcements for future projects coming to the channel. One's coming up here soon, one will be a little bit later, but we'll get into that as we get through the rankings. As always, the best way to show your support for the channel is by hitting that thumbs up button, to like this video, subscribing if you are new here, following me on all social medias, Twitter, Instagram, join the Discord, all of their links are in the description, and also comment down below your favorite Pokemon game. Do you agree with my rankings? Do you think a game should be ranked higher or lower? Or let me know your personal thoughts on this video. So let's get into the rankings. Let's go! Where else are we going to be starting these rankings other than the very beginning with the OG Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue for the Game Boy Color? A game that a lot of us, well, really everybody, because they're the first, but a lot of the older Pokemon trainers out there in the world, we started with Red and Blue on our Game Boy Colors. I had the Pokemon Edition Game Boy Color. I still have it. The start button does not work, but I still have it. I can get the game to work, so that's pretty cool. And these games are really, really awesome. It's going to be tough to rank. I'm going to try my best to just objectively look, but we'll throw in some nostalgia and some personal things here throughout these rankings. But Gen 1 was also very weird. It had a lot of glitches. It had the 1 in 256. It had the high critical hit ratio if you were speed. Basically, if you had an Alakazam with amnesia, you were going to be lasering everybody, critically hitting. Persian was also good. The missing no, surfing on Cinnabar Island to get the missing no. The Mew on the truck. I mean, Gen 1 was really, really awesome. But unfortunately, everything else is just better. And that comes with the technology changes. And also, it's tough for me to put them in S or A. You know, I can't put them in D or F. They're somewhere in this B to C range. So I think we're going to put them in C to start out. Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue are going in the C tier. That kind of sets the bar as Gen 1 did, as Pokemon Red and Blue did set the bar for the future. So we're going to put them in C. There's going to be a couple of games that rank above, or actually a lot of games will be ranking above, and some games that'll be ranking below. And up next, we have Pokemon Yellow. Now, this is the one that I remember playing the most. You get the partner Pikachu. You get more of the anime kind of game here. You do battle Team Rocket, Jesse, and James. You can get all of the starters, essentially very similar to how Ash got them in the Indigo League anime, or Indigo Plateau. Indigo Plateau is Victory Road. Either way, the OG Pokemon anime. So this is going to be ranked a little bit higher. I put this here at B. I think it's a better Gen 1 game if you guys are going to be playing Gen 1, and this will be a common theme of these rankings. You play Pokemon Yellow, you get the Pikachu, you talk to the Jigglypuff in the Pewter City Pokemon Center, you turn back to your Pikachu, you see it snoozing because it fell asleep with the Jigglypuff song, and this was awesome. I mean, this got me into Pokemon. I played Red and Blue, but Yellow was the game because I had the Game Boy Color Pokemon Edition. I think it came with the game, I'm not sure, I was like 4. And honestly, I didn't know this. 5-year-old me did the speed run strategy. I remember when I was playing as a little Timmy B, my strategy was get a Nidoking and basically run through the game. And then getting older and doing YouTube stuff and learning that the Gen 1 Speed 1 tactic is to get a Nidoking, let's just say, I could have done it. I could have done it as a little 5-year-old kid. So that is awesome. And that's why Nidoking is one of my favorite Pokemon, as well as Misty Starmie. And so, yeah, I think C tier for Red and Blue and B for Yellow is awesome. Let's go to Gen 2. Oh, man. Gen 2 is up next. And honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of Gold and Silver. Now, I will say, Pokemon Gold was the first time I ever got a level 100 Pokemon. That's right, I had a level 100 Typhlosion, carried me through the game. I didn't even bother catching other homies. I was like, Typhlosion got me my first level 100. But honestly, that's about it. I mean, Johto is not the best region out there. A lot of it is, the cool factor is you get to go to Kanto afterwards. So that's kind of one of the big catches here. There's day and night, there's eggs, berries, introduce a couple of extra Pokeballs, I believe, as well. Not saying that I don't like the Pokemon that were introduced in Gen 2 or Ho-Oh and Lugia. It's just, I'm not the biggest fan of the games itself. We'll get to Crystal here in a second, but I think I got to put Gold and Silver in the D tier. They're not that bad. I can't put them in F, but I also can't rank them equal or even better than the Gen 1 game. So Gold and Silver are going in the D tier, and now it's time for Crystal. And as I mentioned, common theme with Yellow, if you really want to play a Gen 2 game, the correct answer is Crystal. I almost said Silver. No, seriously, guys, if you want to play Gen 2, I recommend playing Crystal. It is a much better game. The Pokemon animations were great, and if you, like I said, if you really want to play Gen 2, play Crystal, and that will be a common theme here in my rankings. That's really all I have to say about Gen 2. In terms of Crystal, I do rank it higher than Yellow. I'm not sure if I can put it in S tier. Maybe after we go through some of the other gens, maybe we bump it up to S. But right now, I'm going to put it in A. I do think it is better than Yellow. I really did enjoy playing Crystal, and I remember watching some Crystal playthroughs back in the day. So Crystal is the way to go for Gen 2. And now we are getting into the stretch of the 3 best generations of Pokemon. Let's start talking Gens 3, 4, and 5. I hope you like water. Everybody stay hydrated because we're going to Ruby and Sapphire here in Gen 3. Man, what can I say about Gen 3? I mean, the games are great. The pacing is pretty good. It introduced abilities. It introduced a whole multitude of items and Pokeballs, and the games just got so much better from here for the Game Boy Advance, moving from the Game Boy Color. And Ruby and Sapphire were a lot of fun. I remember having the official guide, and that guide got some wear and tear on it. Pages were being ripped out. I think like there's like half of it remaining still. And this is what really got me into Pokemon. Of course, everybody got a little bit older. I was about 9 or 10, so I was understanding, you know, abilities and stats, and you got to catch this one, have the type advantage. So I really enjoyed playing Gens 1 and Gen 2, but Gen 3 is where I really became a Pokemon fan. Got to use different teams, plan it out, use the walkthrough, learn about stats, moves, abilities, all that fun stuff, physical special split. And so these games are really good for that. The story is pretty interesting. Team Magma, Team Aqua, Groudon, and Kyogre. I still don't know how you're trying to hunt Groudon or Kyogre and you get the complete opposite color orb. I don't know. I don't know how that gets you Team Magma leader, but hey, you know what? That's not me. I'm not Team Magma leader or Team Aqua, although Team Aqua is way better. Archie is better than Maxie, facts. In terms of these games and the rankings, I think I have to put both of these. Oh man, oh, this is tough now. This is actually tough. Do I put them in B or A? Gosh. Wow, okay. This is a lot harder than I thought it would be. Okay, but real talk, let's, shoo, man. Wow. I can't put them in S tier. I can't. I can't. But A? Are they on the same level as Crystal? You know what? You know what? As we talked about with Crystal, maybe we put it into the S tier after the fact. Let's put Ruby and Sapphire in the A tier. If we do need to bump them down to B and put them in sort of that like A minus B plus tier, then we will. But let's put them in A for now. And then Emerald, once again, common theme. And you're going to hear this, I think only one more time, technically, maybe a second one. If you want to play Gen 3 Hoenn, the correct answer is Emerald. It's just better. It expands the game a little bit more. There's more things to do, more fun stuff. Everybody's favorite character in Pokemon, Scott. Who could forget Scott? So you know what? It's our first S tier. We got to put Emerald in S, not only for Scott, but it is an S tier worthy game. Once again, if you want to play Gen 1, that's awesome. Play Yellow. If you want to play Gen 2, that's great. Get in the S tier. There you go. If you want to play Gen 2, fantastic. You play Crystal. And if you play Gen 3, you will be playing Pokemon Emerald. And you know what? Spoiler alert, if you are playing Gen 4, if you want to play Gen 4, you play Platinum. But before we go to Gen 4, we still have Fire Red and Leaf Green, the first remakes of Pokemon, remaking Gens 1. I almost said, why did I say gens? Either way, remake of Pokemon Red and Blue, Fire Red and Leaf Green. As you know, we are Kaizo Ironmon champions in Fire Red, and if you don't know, check out the Blissey video. That was really awesome. And also become a member. You can see the Blaziken Elite Four as well. But yeah, Fire Red, Leaf Green, arguably my favorite games in the series. They hit nostalgia well, playing Gen 1 with all the abilities, the updated graphics, the updated mechanics, no 1 and 256 miss, no super fast critical hit, the introduction to special defense as well. Like, this is the game. This might be a personal pick for me, but these are going in S tier. I can't rank them any lower. Maybe they go in the GOAT tier. We don't know. We'll see that at the end of the video. But I got to put Fire Red and Leaf Green in the S tier. And it's time for Gen 4. Oh, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum are up next. And really fun game, Gen 4, introducing the physical special split. Sinnoh, I really like Sinnoh as a region. I think the story is really, really cool. It obviously gets a lot better in Platinum, which is why I said earlier in the spoiler section that if you want to play a Gen 4 Sinnoh game, you play Pokemon Platinum. The story is much, much better. They fixed some things with Diamond and Pearl, and they also introduced all these new Pokemon. And the really big thing for Gen 4 is not only the lack of fire types, but also it is slow. I don't know how we did it on the DS without speed up. My goodness, Gen 4 is so slow. Oh man. Now, in terms of the games, I don't mind Diamond and Pearl. Platinum is the way to go, so we're going to be putting Platinum in the S tier. One of the best games. You gotta play Platinum. You gotta play it. Gen 4. Now, in terms of Diamond and Pearl, they're another tough one, honestly. Another tough one. I think they're better than Red and Blue. They're probably on the same tier as Yellow. They're probably in that B tier. So yeah, I think we do probably keep Ruby and Sapphire in the A tier. I do think Ruby and Sapphire are a little bit better than Diamond and Pearl. So I think Diamond and Pearl are like a solid B, whereas Ruby and Sapphire might be that borderline A minus B plus tier, kind of right in between. Now, more remakes. Let's go. Let's get some more remakes, especially since the next gen is the best gen. We are here at the Gen 4 remakes now, Heart Gold and Soul Silver. We are also a Heart Gold Kaizo Ironmon champion. Hopefully that Milo video comes out soon. Tell me in the comments to edit the Milo video. We can get that out for you guys sooner rather than later. That was a really, really fun run. I can't believe it. 3,225 attempts it took to become Kaizo Ironmon champions. But anyways, I think if you really, really want to play Johto, I think you gotta play Heart Gold and Soul Silver. If you want to play Gen 2, you play Crystal. If you just want to play Johto, you play Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Everything got updated, new abilities, the physical special split. So Feraligatr now makes a little bit more sense to use on your team if you want to choose that as a starter. So I think Heart Gold and Soul Silver are beautiful games. They're really well done. And if you are fortunate to have some hardware, software, and can randomize them, it is a lot of fun to play randomized. Maybe not so much when you do Kaizo Ironmon in it, but we gotta put Heart Gold and Soul Silver in the A tier. They are kind of maybe that borderline SA border, A plus, S minus, but we'll put them in A for now. And it's time for Gen 5 Black and White are up next, guys. I'm just going to cut to the chase, much like Fire Red, Leaf Green. These are some of my favorite games in the Pokemon series. Gen 5 is one of the best. And make sure you guys do subscribe, check out the live streams. We are now in Pokemon Black, Kaizo Ironmon for Gen 5. These are going straight to the S tier. Reshiram is my favorite legendary. Again, maybe a nostalgia play here, maybe a personal pick, but I put so much time into Pokemon Black, doing everything, trying to 100% it. This is probably the most hours of a non-Switch game that I have put into one save file. Me and my friend Raymond, shout out Raymond, we were doing all-nighters back in high school. I bought a DS so I could play Pokemon Black. And honestly, even taking that all aside, Gen 5 nailed it. They nailed it. They wanted to reset Pokemon. If you play Gen 5, if you play Black and White Vanilla, it is an entirely new Pokédex. Unova is great, an entirely new 150-ish Pokemon. Not sure the exact number, but you know, they took a giant risk in trying to reset Pokemon and reset the franchise, and they nailed it. 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 And it introduced seasons, which is cool. Not so much you see seasons in later Pokemon games. I guess you see those terrains and stuff, but really, really great games. A beautiful, beautiful story. One of the best in terms of lore with N and Getsis. Really beautiful graphics as well. So I have nothing but good things to say about Gen 5. The only complaint, actually the only bad thing I have to say about Gen 5, specifically in Black and White, is that to me, in order to beat the Pokemon game, you become champion of the region, and that's not quite the case in Black and White. Once you defeat the 4 members of the Elite Four, instead of going to a 5th champion, you go to N and Getsis, you battle them, you catch your Reshiram or Zekrom, and then the credits roll. So technically you did beat the game, but you were not champion of the region. Now, of course, you can go back, rebattle, battle Alder, and officially become Pokemon champion. Again, that's just a personal nitpick I have. I truly think that you should be champion, credits roll, game over, congrats, you beat it, and maybe do N and Getsis as the post-game stuff. So Black and White, S tier for sure. And then we have Black 2 and White 2, the first time Pokemon introduced sequels. I believe it takes place a couple of years after the events of Black and White. So much like Gold and Silver, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth. I don't want to say anything, but you know, Gold and Silver, a little bit of a sequel to Gen 1, especially since Team Rocket has kind of fizzled out, but they're still operating. Very much the same here in Black 2 and White 2. Team Plasma still kind of there. You know, there's still some shenanigans going on. And a really, really solid game. Actually, really, really hard to Nuzlocke. Every time I do a Black 2, White 2 Nuzlocke, it's hard to start. It's a hard start, I'll say that. It's a hard beginning. You can get bopped. And one of the cool things that Black 2 and White 2 introduced was the challenge mode to make your difficulty a little bit harder. However, you do have to beat the regular mode first, so you do have to become champion and then you can unlock it. But also, the first game to introduce the Shiny Charm. It's Gen 5, guys. It's probably the best generation of Pokemon. These games are S tier. I probably would lean them maybe to A if I really had to like nitpick. We can put them in A maybe after the fact, after we see the rest of the list, but these are S tier. Gen 5, absolute amazing. And now we get to Gen 6 and the first of 2 announcements here for Gen 6. As we all know, every holiday season, I do a holiday-themed Nuzlocke that I call a Santa Lock. So far, we have done Platinum, we have done Omega Ruby, we've done Shield, and last year we did Scarlet. So I'm happy to announce that the 5th Santa Lock on the channel coming this holiday season with Legends Z A coming out sometime next year in 2025. We are going to be returning to Kalos, so pack your bags. We are spending the holiday season in Kalos. It is going to be a Kalos Christmas here on the It's Really Timmy B channel. Pokemon Y randomized Nuzlocke for this year's Santa Lock. More details to come on that, so stay tuned. Now let's go to the rankings. As I've mentioned a lot of times in streams, I have only played Gen 6 for the channel. We did a randomizer versus for our first collaboration, and I've done a Y Nuzlocke before. I think I did some Twitch as well. So I've only really played X and Y only about 2 or 3 times, and every time it's been randomized. So the randomization does actually really help X and Y. There were times throughout my playthroughs where I could see vanilla kind of being like, and having the walkthrough and the guy next to me on my other screen just being like, yeah, I can see where people are coming from in saying that, you know, maybe it's not the best game or you know, a couple of issues here and there. So I can see it. I just never experienced that. So I really do like X and Y. I do. In terms of the whole scheme of Pokemon, I think we put them in the B tier. I think they're probably pretty equal with Diamond and Pearl and even Yellow. I don't know if I can put them in the same tier as Ruby, Sapphire, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, but I don't hate them. I think the only thing that I know of the vanilla game is the starters. I actually do like Delphox. Chestnut is a Pokemon, and we all know what Greninja does to the franchise with a lot of people's favorite Pokemon. So maybe that's it. Just have better starters. I mean, we'll get to Gen 7 here in a second, but just all 3 Gen 7 starters are awesome. I like all 3, and that's not the case in Gen 6. So if we're doing a starter tier list, which I have done before, make sure you guys go check those out as well. I did a first form, middle form, and final form video, so make sure you guys go check those out. But Gen 6 starters are kind of toward the bottom for me in the rankings. Maybe we do another video. Let me know if you guys are interested in that. So in terms of the games, though, we will be putting X and Y in the B tier. I think that's where they belong. And don't forget, Pokemon Y Santa Lock this holiday season. We'll see you there. Now, let's get to the Gen 3 remakes. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are up next. The Gen 3 remakes with all the Gen 6 mechanics. Once again, my experience with Gen 6 and Gen 7 have been randomized all on the channel. Didn't have a 3DS, that was when I was in college, so Pokemon wasn't the biggest priority for me, but I do enjoy playing these games, and randomizing Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire is so fun. Getting to play Gen 3, getting to play Hoenn with updated graphics, generations 4, 5, and 6 Pokemon, updated abilities, all that fun stuff. I think it's really cool, and I think we're going to put them in the A tier. I don't know if I can put them in the S tier, but I do like Pokemon Ruby and action. So yeah, I like Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I think they're probably equal to Ruby and Sapphire, honestly, at least in my opinion from my playthroughs and stuff. Not too many changes. It really just is Ruby and Sapphire with updated graphics, and of course when you randomize some updated Pokemon, of course they do have the Delta episode, which is kind of, I guess, the Emerald portion with Rayquaza and stuff. So I think Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are great remakes. They are right there with Heart Gold, Soul Silver, as well as Fire Red, Leaf Green, and I think they're pretty even to Ruby and Sapphire. So yeah, A tier, maybe a little bit higher than Ruby and Sapphire, maybe a solid A, whereas I've mentioned for like 4 million times today, Ruby and Sapphire maybe A-, B+, but yeah, they're right there. They're much better than X and Y, Diamond and Pearl, but not as good as the S tier. And now it's time for Gen 7. Gen 7, Pokemon Sun and Moon. Once again, like Gen 6, I've only played them for the channel, only played them randomized. I do like all 3 starters, as I mentioned, Decidueye, Incineroar, and Primarina. Primarina's on the Season 8 EBL team, by the way. So that's going to be really fun, and it's really fun games, I think. I love the beach vibes. I like the region. I think it's cool, but I don't know if I can rank them higher than X and Y. Call me an old-fashioned Pokemon player, but I do like the gyms. I don't think the totems or the trials or whatever they're called, I don't think they were a bad idea. It's just not my cup of tea. I do think that they're better than gold and silver though, so I think we're gonna put sun and moon in the C tier. There's sun, there's moon, and major announcement number 2 for the channel. As some of you know, as many of you are finding out now, I am moving in a couple of weeks, and actually the day that I move into my new place is the 4-year anniversary for my channel. Obviously we will not be streaming that day as I will be moving, but one of the first streams for the channel, our 4-year anniversary celebration stream, will be a Pokemon Ultra Moon randomized sleep lock. That's right, baby. We are going to be playing Ultra Moon. We are going to randomize it, and we are going to beat it before I go to sleep. It's going to be a fun celebration. More details to come on that. We might do a baby stream or two during that week of my move, just to make sure that everything is working fine, everything's set up. But our big celebration for 4-year anniversary, first big stream in the new place, will be an Ultra Moon randomized sleep lock. Can't wait for you guys to see it, be there, hang out with me, all that fun stuff. So more details to come on that, obviously soon, in a couple of weeks here. And it will actually be my first time playing Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. My Gen 7 experience is with Sun and Moon, but because they're Ultra and there's a little bit more to the story, we're going to put them in the B tier. I would just assume that they're better than regular Sun and Moon with some extra stories and stuff. So really, really excited. I'm excited to sleep lock it. It's going to be a blast. Hope to see you guys there. And now it's time for the Nintendo Switch. All right, we are here on the Nintendo Switch Gen 8, and we are starting off with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. We are just gonna put them in the F tier. The first, probably, I don't want to say only. We might be having some games coming up here soon. But Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are in the trash. They are the F tier. Honestly, it's just not my cup of tea, and it wasn't marketed for me. It was to kind of get all the Let's Go players to get back on the Switch, back to getting to the console and the main series. We all know the craze of Pokemon Go many years ago when it first came out, and they were trying to market to a lot of the older Pokemon players who might have been playing Yellow or Crystal or Emerald, and then kind of steered away from Pokemon. That's why they did Kanto. It's a really cute game, I'll give it that. The shiny rates are pretty good in it. I've never played them, I never will, and we do not need another Let's Go game. We really don't. We don't need Let's Go Johto or any other Pokemon, Togepi, whatever. We don't need another Let's Go game, so that's all I will say about Let's Go. We'll be nice here. I'll just put them in F, say a couple of things, we'll move on. Let's get to Sword and Shield. Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. Honestly, I really like Sword and Shield. I had a blast. You can actually watch my first playthrough of it. I did stream my first playthrough once I got a Switch, once I started my channel. So that was really cool. Played a few randomized versions, did competitive in the EBL for Sword and Shield. So honestly, I really do like these games. I do like that they introduced the open world aspect with the large area and then with the DLCs. So I think that was really cool. And you can even see that in a Legends Arceus and then Scarlet and Violet, how they gave you a little bit, kind of, they were testing it out in Sword and Shield. Once they realized it worked, they kind of expanded that, and they expanded that a little bit more. So it's going to be interesting to see maybe what's happening in Legends ZA or Gen 10 based on that. So really cool. I do like Sword and Shield. I don't know if I can put them in S tier, honestly. We might though. I might. I'm gonna put them in A for now. Again, I really like them. I think it was cool. The shiny charm and the Dynamax adventures to get shiny legendaries are kind of cool and unique. So definitely a big fan of Sword and Shield. And now we're going to the Gen 4 remakes. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. The Gen 4 remakes that we've all been asking for. Now we're asking for Gen 5 remakes. I enjoyed my first playthrough of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. The nostalgia was nice. The chibi style wasn't as bad as some people made it to be. Honestly, some of the backgrounds were pretty cool. I mean, you can watch the streams of me playing it for the first time, but there was a few times in battles or walking through the town where I was like, yo, this looks dope. Like, you know, it looked kind of cool. So, you know, Other than that, that's it. Like, after I beat Cynthia, I did a little bit of shiny hunting. I got shiny Arceus. That was really cool. Thank goodness. That was kind of super quick because the resets in this game were like 90 seconds. I think I did like 10 to 15 hours of shiny Chimchar hunting, and I did like 400 encounters. Like, it was ridiculous how much I went through, and I didn't get it. So yeah, honestly, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, not bad for a first playthrough. Get that nostalgia, get to play Gen 4 again, kind of for the first time with the updated styles and stuff. But when I'm looking at this tier list, like, I have to put it with the Let's Go games. Like, I don't want to do a disservice to Gold and Silver or any other game above this. Like, I can't, like, even though we have Gold and Silver in the D tier, I just can't put Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl with Gold and Silver. Like, at least give them some respect there. All right. So Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are joining the Let's Go games in the F tier, and we are moving on to Legends Arceus. This was a wild time. This came out the weekend of my birthday, so was moving all around with birthday celebrations, with doing Legends Arceus. So this was a really, really cool game. I do like the idea of the Legends game, especially in Arceus, of kind of building out the first Pokédex, and not prehistoric, but, you know, very primitive in the timeline of you know, making Pokeballs and crafting. I will say the catching mechanics could get annoying at times. I remember Landorus from my Season 7 EBL team. That took a hot minute to catch in Legends Arceus. So it really, if you like that style of game, that's awesome. I don't mind it. But yeah, it was just, I really enjoyed the game. I think the story was cool. I think the issue with Legends Arceus is the replayability factor. Kind of like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. It's like you beat the game, you do the final battles, and you're like, all right, like, now what? You know, so I think at least with a lot of these other games, you could turn off your Switch, start a new game, pick a new starter, pick a new team. Not saying you can't do that in Legends Arceus, but it's like, do I want to delete my save file and do all that again? You know, so I think that's kind of the issue with Arceus. Really a fun time, a really great game, cool music, great idea. I'm really, really excited for Legend Z-A. So I think we got to put Arceus in the B tier. Maybe it's an A tier game, taking another look at this, but I think B tier is solid. Like I said, it was a really fun game, a great idea. I had a blast playing it, but the replayability is just super, super tough. So I like Arceus in the B tier, and now we have moved on to the final two games, Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, Gen 9, and I really like these games. I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoyed Violet. I enjoyed playing Scarlet. I enjoyed the Scarlet Santa Lock. I'm having a blast in Scarlet and Violet. I think they're really solid games. And for me, you know, with all the graphics and the glitches and them rushing, for me, that's not, you know, that's not a priority for me. I still really enjoyed playing it. Honestly, the memes were awesome of the glitches and stuff. So it was good content, at least. So I can't really fault it for that. I mean, I can, but like I said, it's just not my priority, especially for a Pokemon game. Could it have been better? Should it have been better? Absolutely. I'm not denying that, but I just can't deal with people who are like, bad graphics, hate the game. It's like, did you like the Pokemon? Yeah. Did you like the story? Yeah. And it's like, all right, you know, what are we doing here, right? Anyway, enough of my Scarlet and Violet rant. I do really like the games. I like a lot of the new Pokemon introduced. The DLCs were pretty cool. There's no Starmie in here, so that is a little Debbie Downer. But I do like the overworldness. I guess in terms of a Nuzlocke, it is kind of tough because you really can't have a random encounter. But you can make it work as we did with the Santa Lock. So either way, these games are a lot of fun. I don't know if I can put them in S tier, but I can definitely put them in the A tier with Sword and Shield. I do think that they are better than Diamond Pearl, XY, Sun and Moon, Arceus. I think the A tier is kind of where they belong. You know, could they have been better? Yes, they could have. But Scarlet and Violet are going in the A tier, and that will do it for this. Oh, Wait, we need a goat. You already know by now. You should. I don't know, if you've been listening to me talk for this video, make sure you guys do hit that thumbs up button to like this video. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel. We will see you for the Ultra Moon Sleep Lock coming here in a couple of weeks. We will see you in the Pokemon Y Santa Lock. And just be on the lookout for some other videos and streams coming your way. Make sure you guys do ring that bell to be notified. And finally, the GOAT Pokemon game. You already know. You already know it is Let's Go. No, I'm just kidding. It is Black and White, guys. I mean, these are the GOATs. These are the best. They're like, I could go on and on about how great they are and how wonderful and amazing they are, but Black and White are the GOATs. Right behind is Fire Red and Leaf Green. And then probably Platinum and Emerald are right there as well. So maybe GOAT 1, GOAT 2, GOAT A, GOAT B, but Black and White are the GOATs. Gen 5 is the GOAT. Gens 3 and 4 are right behind it, though. If you ask me tomorrow, maybe Gen 3 is my GOAT. If you ask me the next day, it might be Gen 4, but Gen 5, Black and White are the GOATs, and that will do it for this video. If you guys have any other ideas of what you would like for me to tier rank, please let me know in the comments, let me know on Twitter, let me know in Discord, and we'll see you in the next stream or video. Peace out.